To another NQPC video. Today I'm with Lee, who also runs Just Rolling Through Life. You run a YouTube channel as well. We both do similar shit, to be honest.
Yeah, we do.
But yeah, we just do it in different spheres, I guess. So like, tell them a bit about you, like what made you start YouTube, what you do on YouTube, and general intro.
Well, the reason I started YouTube was actually down to my little brother, because before I knew about vlogging or anything like that, I just used YouTube to look at music. And then he showed me all of these YouTubers who were vlogging, and I was like, wait, people watch this and all you do is film yourself? I could do that, because at that point, I hadn't seen anybody like me with a disability doing that stuff.
Yeah.
And then until I started doing it, and then I found like you and other people, I was like, well, I could have a go at this, because obviously I'd done performing arts and I was into like performing in that way and being in front of camera. I felt like YouTube would be a decent way to be able to create stuff, be in front of a camera, but also spread a message of, look, I'm disabled, but I can do that stuff that these people are doing, and people can watch it.
Yeah, I think, to be fair, like we both went down a similar route. Like I came into it from the whole fitness scene, and no one was really doing fitness plus disability, because those two don't normally go hand in hand. So and then then it sort of divulged more into, like you say, promoting the message of accessibility, just generally what it's like being disabled. And like I say, I myself, I did performing arts at school. I got 2 A levels in performing arts. So like I say, I got so used to sort of performing and being in front of camera. I'm always used to being the front man. So kind of, and then ended up here, really.
Exactly.
It's safe to say as well, both me and Lee, we both got cerebral palsy, and I believe our conditions are fairly similar. I think I've got
I think they are quite similar, yes.
I think I've got a tiny bit more strength in my legs, but I think it's very minimal.
Yeah.
But no, so what was sort of like the end goal with YouTube? What's the end goal with YouTube, really?
To be honest, I mean, there's obviously goals, but I don't know where it can end. Like, I don't want to say, like, I want to be massive, but I just want people to, I want to inspire people in a way, as corny as that sounds. But I want to do it in a different way to what I have seen before, because unlike me and you, when we do it, I think that we bring, I don't want to sound harsh to any other YouTubers, but we bring a bit of personality and sense of humor with it all. And then when I watch other people, it's just more sort of factual, and like they don't really joke about it or just show their life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think me and you have got similar beliefs in terms of, we believe in tackling sort of the bigger picture instead of maybe picking up on some of the smaller details that some disabled influencers like to sort of create conversations about. Not that that's a bad thing. I think we're just a lot more laid back when it comes to the minor problems. I mean, for example, me and you sort of see the same way for like the word interabled relationships. We don't have a qualm with that, whereas some of the sub community do. And okay, fair. That's just not how we feel. And I think we're a lot more open, and we're quite sarcastic, both of us.
Because I like to take the mickey, because I like to see people's reactions to me taking the mickey out of myself. Because like there's been situations, like obviously not for the last year or so, and maybe a bit before then, but if I go out and I get drunk, there have been occasions where I will throw myself out of my chair on purpose, just to see
that's a new one.
Just to see like random people's reaction, because I'll always be with someone that I trust, right? So then basically they just end up getting like grief, because they're laughing at the guy in the wheelchair who's fallen over, and I'm like,
not bothered.
Yeah.
What's your funniest drunken story?
There's a few. On my brother's, I don't know if I should say this, but it's all right. He didn't marry her, so it's fine. On my brother's, was it my brother's 21st? Yeah, my brother's 21st.
Yeah.
We all went out, and he was obviously seeing this girl. She brought a friend along, and I had a few drinks, and I started feeling a little bit like confident. No, it was my, hold on. I think it was my birthday, and he brought his girlfriend and a friend along because my other friend from college was there. Yeah, that's right. And I'd had a few drinks, got a bit confident. This girl was kind of attractive from what I can remember. So like,
Bad, eh?
so somehow we ended up kissing, and she's like sat on my lap in the club. We're in a club, right? She sat on my lap, and I've like leant in. We're kissing, and she's wearing kind of a dress that is slippery. Let's just say. And we end up on the floor of the club, and I'm on top of her.
Oh,
We're still kissing. So I just look at her and go, "Are you all right?" She said, "Yeah." So then I just carry on kissing her on the club floor. But then my 6'5" college friend came over, and my brother, who is also over 6 foot, and lifted me up like a bouncer. I was like, "We're all right. We're fine." She said she was okay.
I don't know if I've got anything like that. Like, I think the funniest one, if you can envisage it, is probably there's a story where basically I was in post 16, so I was 17, 18. I'd had a few, no, I was 18. I had a few mates around. We were going to have a few drinks, and I've actually got a swimming pool at my house.
Yeah.
And so we've had a few drinks, we're messing around in the pool, and I've said, "Oh, I need the toilet." So I've got out of the pool, got on my frame, gone to go to the toilet, and my mate's sort of looking at me going, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. At this point, the thing that baffles me to this day, I hand on heart swear I'd had one drink, and normally I'm quite I can normally drink people under the table.
You can
Anyway,
handle your drink.
started walking towards the house, and I'm walking down my garden, and then my mates are just standing there watching me, and they can sort of see what's going to happen. And I've lost my balance, leant to one side, fallen sideways, and head butted the washing line pole.
Oh.
And I've dented and bent the washing line pole.
Were you all right?
I was right, to be honest, I don't really remember a lot of it. But the thing that baffles me the most is I'd had one drink, and that was the end result.
I don't know if we should go. I don't know if we should go drinking together.
No, that's the thing. Normally, like, I'm Irish by descent, so normally I'm absolutely fine. But that day was just not a good day.
They'd laced your drink with something.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I wouldn't put it past my lot. No disrespect, you lot. But yeah, like, I think as well, like, that perfectly shows, like, we're so laid back about everything, really.
Yeah, I to be honest, like, I know I'm disabled, but I don't really think about it in that way. So
Yeah.
then when like other people in the disabled community are talking about this other kind of stuff, and I'm like, I just get on with life. Like, I've been brought up to in a family where they're all able-bodied, and they know to help me, but it's never been like, "Oh, Lee's the disabled one, the one in the wheelchair." Like, I've got cousins who well, one of my cousins I went to Vegas with, and when we were in Vegas, I was the only person in a wheelchair out every night. And my cousin was getting like, "Oh, you're so nice, taking him on holiday and stuff." And my cousin's turning around and go, "Look, I'm not doing it. It's not make a wish. I'm not doing it like, I'm doing it because I like him and we get on. It's not like he's special in any way."
Actually, that's a good point to bring up, because I get asked it all the time. Obviously, where I'm with Gina, what's like been your like dating experience? Because obviously we're quite similar.
Well, I've had a few relationships. I've been single for a little while now, but I can remember there's one in particular that I think will be good for here. So I was dating this girl, and I'm not sure if we'd
I think I've seen. Haven't you? Didn't you mention this in a YouTube? Is this the one that you mentioned in a video?
I don't know, maybe.
The one where your parents come downstairs or something like that.
Oh no. I didn't date her. She was there for 2 days, and then I like helped her off. Link in the description, put it down somewhere,
Yeah.
they can go and watch that.
I'll link the video.
Yeah. No, this one, right? We'd been dating for a few years, and we were where she lived. We were going around the town,
Yeah.
and she'd spotted someone that she knew or she worked with.
Yeah.
And right, she was a carer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she worked with adults and people with disabilities and stuff. So this woman, we just crossed paths. She weren't like close or nothing. It was like we were the other side of like the roads or whatever.
Yeah.
And this woman just turns to her, my girlfriend, and I'm just carrying on like I don't know what's going on. I don't know her.
Yeah.
She just turns around and goes, points at me and says, "How's work?" And it took me like 10 seconds. I was like, hold on a minute.
That's great.
What just happened?
That's brilliant. That is brilliant. I think that sort of defines, like, when people refer to Gina as my carer, it really pisses me off, because I'm like,
Yeah,
not my carer. Like, if anything, I prefer her being called my PA. I don't mind that. Why? PA is fine. But carer, I'm like, no, I'm not a dangerous child that's been let loose.
yeah. It's like when you're in like a shop or something, and a mum with a pram and kids come. It's like, get out of the way of the wheelchair, get out of the way of the wheelchair. And instead of looking at you, they look at the person above.
Yeah.
It's like, are you going to control this person?
Yeah. Yeah. Or it's like, do you know how to drive? Yes. You sure? Yes.
The amount of people, even now, that when I have parked up somewhere and then they'll watch me either get out or get in, they'll just sit there and they'll be mesmerized by the fact that I've either got out of the driver's side or I'm getting in the driver's seat.
Yep, I can
then they'll just stare at me like, how's he doing it?
Yeah,
How's he doing it?
Many stories of that. So I had one where I had one where basically I'd pulled up to a service station. I was on my way to Birmingham to I think we were going to see Gina's family. I pulled into the only disabled bay left. The other disabled bay is taken up by a highway maintenance van that's across the chevrons. So I can't.
Yeah, they never park right, do they?
And I'm like, if you're gonna park there, at least park straight. Like, Jesus. But anyway, so I'm sitting there like, okay, how can I get out? I see these three blokes walk towards the van, and you can see two of them are looking at me going, fuck. Like, they're going, shit. But then you can see the other one. I go, all right, mate, where's your blue badge? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, where's your blue badge? It's disabled bay. You need a blue badge to park it. Are you a parking warden? No, I'm not a fucking parking warden. Don't fucking park there.
Yeah.
And then he just keeps repeating himself. Are you a parking warden? Are you a parking warden? I'm like, no. What do you want me to say?
It's at those times I wish, one, that I was a YouTuber then and I had a camera, and two, that I would be confident enough to whack the camera in the guy's face.
Yeah, I mean, the worst
because I've got a story about a car parking spur. I've got many, but there's one that really winds me up and wound me up at the time it happened, right?
The worst bit, just quickly, the worst bit about that one that I just told you was they then squared up to Gina.
You're joking.
Yeah, they didn't square up to me, they squared up to Gina, and I'm like, are you having what?
That's disgusting.
5'3" little ginger girl. Really? Wow. These guys are like 30. I'm like, hey, you guys are sad.
Yeah.
I,
it's a parking situation.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Anyway, I'll let you carry on. Go on.
Right. So I went shopping with my mum, parked in the disabled bay. Like, I don't know, it was reasonably late in the evening. So, you know, like Tesco's or wherever, they have rows of disabled bays. And at this time, they were empty, right? So no one needed to park next to me. No one needed to like block me in or nothing. Went into the shop. I come out, however long we've been in there, I don't know. And there is a car parked like that to my driver's door, and I can't get in. And I'm like, I don't care if you're going to park in the disabled bay, as long as I can get in my car. I can't control what you do, whether you're disabled or not. I can't control that. But the ignorance of the fact that you've got thousands of bays, but you've decided to park this close to me.
Yeah.
And then we saw this woman, she's walking towards the car that is like blocking me after she'd watched me and my mum struggle to get me in the car. And I didn't care about damaging her car. I was more worried about damaging mine.
Yeah.
So I'm now in the driver's seat after having to physically like shimmy down the side, walk, and that's not easy for me.
No.
And I watch her and I start like about to have a go at her, like, what fantastic fucking parking this is.
Yeah.
Well done. You know, like you've got
Yeah.
all these. And then my mum goes, oh no, Lee, stop. She's getting in the passenger side. So she's not the driver. So I'm like fuming. I'm still fuming, but I look away.
Oh no, I would have still
Then,
gone for it because I was like, no,
no,
you know the dickhead that parked.
yeah, no. So I'm trying to calm down because my mum said, like, don't cause a scene.
Yeah.
And my mum doesn't like confrontation like that. But so I turn away, try and calm down, and I look back. The fucking woman has got in the passenger side, then scooted across to the driving seat and fucked off. And I'm like, what? I don't know how she got out, because she went out like a one-way exit because she didn't want to go that way.
Yeah.
I'm like, just the people.
I mean, the other, you see, like all those stories always happen at Asda or some form of supermarket. Other supermarkets are available, but but no, it always seems to happen at the supermarket. But I remember once, again, we were at Asda and I'm parked in disabled bay, no problem. But I'm one of them people that it really bugs me when people who don't need a disabled space park in disabled bay. Anyway, so this R8 comes in, pulls into the disabled bay.
I mean, nice car.
Gets out the car. In my head, I always do the same thing. When I see a nice car parking disabled bay, I pray that you get out and have a blue badge, because I will high five you on the spot.
Yeah.
But he got out. He went over to the corner to go to the kebab shop. He's completely able-bodied, no blue badge. I was in at the time. I was in one of them moods where I was like, I can't be bothered. Gino gets out the car, chases him to the kebab shop, starts shouting at me in the kebab shop. He then goes. He goes all quiet. Gina walks back to the car. Then I can see him walking back to my car, and he taps on the window, and I roll down the window and go, I'm like, what? It's like, if your missus, I'm like, what? If my missus tells you off like she just did? And he goes, do you know what? No, do you know what? You're not worth it. Drive away. And I'm like, what are you on about? I'm not the one that created the problem. You are.
Yeah, just because you don't want to get your car dinked.
Or the other one.
And then I worry when like either I've forgotten to put my badge up or I don't have one.
Yeah, I've had that before. But I had one where I was at Bluewater.
I've been a couple of times recently, like before lockdown. It's awful for disabled parking. Well, I couldn't find them.
No, anyway. Mine's all right. I always park by the cinema. Like for me, like where I go there all the time, like there is a set space. I'm like, okay, head here.
Yeah, so like I just went in there and I was like, well, where am I going now?
But what he's saying is next time you go Bluewater, just text me and I'm like, right, go here.
If it ever opens again, Charlie.
Yeah,
if it ever opens.
That is true. But I remember I sat there because I got back to my car. Me and Gina had just gone shopping, and I'm looking out my window going, why the fuck have I got a ticket? I realised fucking badge up, didn't I? I've got the badge in the car, and I've got like stickers everywhere to say like, please leave enough space, please do this.
And and there will obviously be CCTV of you getting out a wheelchair or a frame or whatever you were using.
And I'm like, like I want to argue it, but technically I can't, because I moan that they don't ticket people, and then I get it wrong and they ticket me. So I was like, fuck, I've just got to pay it.
There was this one time that I was using a car parking space that I've always used in town, right?
Yeah.
Even before I could drive, and my dad had like a blue badge and a car that he could use for me. We'd park there. I could leave my badge up, be all right for 3 hours and come back. So I did this, right? I met my friend. I just put my badge up as normal. Come back after like 3 hours. I've got a ticket. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm in a disabled bay. I put my badge up.
Yeah.
Why have I got a ticket? What they've done is they've decided that recently, or whenever the time was, that now disabled drivers are eligible to pay for parking. But they didn't put it on the bays. They put it on the box where you have to go and pay. Now, I've never had to pay, so I wouldn't go
Yeah.
and look there.
Yeah. Fuck.
And they called me out.
In other words, don't go to Essex, folks. You just have to pay for parking.
Yeah, we live in the bad area. Don't
See, that's the
come
thing. Like,
park in here.
where I live, like Kent, you be honest, Kent let you away with murder. 9 times out of 10, I park for free. But then you go into London and it's sometimes.
Oh, mate, London is a nightmare.
But like I was saying about I had the opposite though, because I was again at the supermarket and I'd had a like a rental car. Like I remember I said to you about Proximo, they give you like adapted rental cars when your car goes in for repair. So they gave me
I've got a
this
story about them later if you want.
souped up. They gave me this souped up Golf, and I thought, great, this is great fun to drive. Anyway,
Nice.
pulled into the disabled bay. This woman has gone off at me, and it's like, fucking young people think they can fucking park where they want. And I've just slid my badge onto the dashboard. The woman's come, I'm so sorry. Yeah, like not every like disabled person's an old person.
Yeah, and has to drive a certain type of vehicle. I hate that.
How was your because I know you just recently had a like hire vehicle. How was that?
Yeah, that's what I was going to tell you. I was supposed to have a hire vehicle, Charlie, and and I rung up the mobility insurer.
Yeah.
They didn't have one, so then they contacted that company that you just said.
Yeah.
Right. And they said, yeah, don't worry about it. We've got a car. We've got a car, whatever. We've just got to source it from somewhere in Coventry, and then it'll be with you in like 2 days. It doesn't take long from Coventry. I'm like, and I went, excuse me, you do realise that I live in Essex. Coventry is quite a distance. He's like, yeah, but I just work from, and they'll just get there at this time in the morning. All right, I thought, right, fine. So it was going to be a Mondeo estate, something, right? He said it had all of the mod cons. It was quite modern. I think like a 2015 plate. And so I'm waiting for the next day because he'd said, oh, it'll be here around 9 or 10. So I got up early in lockdown when my body clock's completely screwed anyway to receive this car. And then I think it was like 40 minutes before it was meant to be here, get a phone call saying that the car's actually got a flat tire. So he's going to have to pump that up and then we can bring it to you, but he's not sure when he can get the person to pump the tire up, so it might be the next day. And I'm like, okay, I'm thinking in the back of my head, my car's probably going to be done and sorted before I get this courtesy car, and I can do a video of it on my channel.
So I did think you did the video, and I was like, he doesn't show the car, so I'm like, what happened?
Yeah. And so I wait for the next day because he's like, he rang me up again. He going, we won't be able to pump the tire up in time and then get it to you at a reasonable time. So we're going to do it the next morning at like 8 o'clock. It'll be there at 8 o'clock. So then the next morning, I get up early and I'm waiting. And I'm sat on the edge of my bed looking out my window, making sure I don't miss it. An hour before it's meant to be here, guy rings me up again, says, I'm really sorry, Mr. Jeffrey, but the car on the way to you went into limp mode on the motorway. So we don't think we're going to be able to get the car to you, but I found another one that is suitable and we can get that to you tomorrow if you want. And I had to just say, hold on a minute. I had a text from the guys who were fixing my car. I think my car is ready now. Yeah. So if it's ready, I won't need it. But Charlie, it was like a comedy of errors, mate.
See, that's something like I've never like. To be honest, I don't think I've ever had an issue with Proximo. Whenever I've had them, they've been pretty good. To be honest, most of the time, apart from once, I think I got something about the same. But each time I had one before that, it was an upgrade. So I was like, first time was a souped up Golf.
Yeah, I wouldn't have minded having that.
Second time was a B class BMW.
That's nice.
And I was like, okay, although the BMW was diesel, and this car, like originally when I saw it, I was like, touch. I got a BMW Sport for a couple of weeks. It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
It was the biggest pile of shit I've ever driven. It
Is
was
that, do you reckon that's
so
because it's been driven like they stole it, loads of other people?
no, I think it was because it was diesel, because it was so slow, like off the mark. Like if I was
Really?
pulling out at a roundabout was a mission, because it
Oh,
was
it's
like ready to
dangerous.
go. It was to be honest, like I say, never really. To be honest, they helped me out. Just when we had like they let us out for a little while because we've been good.
Yeah. Yeah,
Basically,
before life just became lockdown.
yeah, before it just came a series of horrible events.
Yeah.
Basically, we went down. We were going to go down to Cornwall camping, and the day before, oh no, I think it was like 2 days before, my automatic braking system failed on my car. And
That's
yeah,
scary.
yeah, it was.
Wait, how did you find that out? You weren't driving at it.
I was. So basically, luckily, what had happened was
No.
my cruise control stopped working. I was like, what the fuck? Like, why is my
How
cruise?
do you use cruise control? I can't use it.
All I want to do is press the button. I use cruise control all the time.
Yeah, but you've got
Literally,
hand controls like me, haven't you?
yeah. I thought I think you've done the same thing I did, because I thought, oh, it's got hand controls. That means that cruise control doesn't work. It still works. You just got to press the button.
The dealer told me that it wouldn't
Well, in which
work.
case, the See It dealers fucked you over. But every car I've
I've
had,
never used. Oh, mate, the amount of journeys, the amount of times I could have used it.
yeah, because every car I've used, I use it all the time, because I get tennis elbow if I do too much long distance.
I just end up like I've just basically for however long I've been driving. I think it's like 14 years now. I've never used cruise control. I've just
Yeah,
always had my hand on the thing.
yeah. I mean, if we like after lockdown, I'll get you in the car and I would just show you. I'll sit there because I use it all the time. Because I use it as well when I'm going past speed cameras, so that I know that I'm not going to get flashed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So
I've never been flashed, thank God.
I've never been flashed. I've been pulled over twice.
We're still talking about speed cameras, right?
Yeah. I got I got
Got flashed when?
uh, no, I got I probably shouldn't put this on my YouTube channel. Basically, I got pulled over because like have you ever been driven like Norfolk, anywhere that's like A roads, but it's like tractor country. So it's one lane. It's just that way. And
Yeah,
so
I've
I
been
got
to Cornwall.
stuck behind a tractor, and I've gone to overtake. And weirdly enough, I was with a work colleague, and like it was fine. It was a little bit close, but it was fine. And then I looked in my rear view, and yeah, that happened. Luckily, the guy was really good about it. He was like, "Just don't be an idiot in future." And I was like, "Okay, fine." The other one is more of a funny story. So we were in. I think it was again just around when we got let out of lockdown for a little while. We were going to see Gina's friends and Gina's parents. And we were staying with them for. No, we were staying in a hotel. And basically, we'd gone to this
For a
town.
long time.
Yeah, we'd gone to this maybe, but we'd gone to this place. Anyway, we got on our way home. It's dark, and I've started noticing like there is literally like police cars everywhere. Bear in mind, this is Bewdley, and Bewdley's like famous for its like railway. It's nothing. It's not a student. It's not a student town or anything. I'm like, what the fuck's with all the police? Anyway, didn't think anything of it. I'm driving along and driving on my way home, and I noticed that basically this police car's behind me, flashed me to say like your lights on. And for some reason, I normally have my lights on automatic.
Automatic, yeah.
But someone flicked it, and I'm like, okay, like whoops. I went to turn the light on. Fucking, I've noticed that my lights are on the opposite side to where I can get to. So I've had to say, like, flick my lights on. What the fuck does she do? Just keep flicking my indicator left, right, center. So next thing I'm like, here we go. Just obviously blue lights me. He's like, yeah, he pulls me over. And I've had to go like, look, I drive with hand controls. I tried to turn my lights on, pressed the wrong button, and this happened. Because normally my indicator's on the switch, but
the little like
NOS switch. You know when you said we could, thank God you were cool about it, because
it could have been so.
To anyone else, that just sounds like complete bullshit. And I like that was the genuine reason I bought. Like, that was the mistake.
That is the one sort of. I don't want to say fear, but it kind of is, of because we're a disabled driver, getting pulled over is kind of like, I don't know how they're going to respond to me, and I can't like jump out of the car.
Yeah.
So
I think that's the other thing. Like, I think you had the same thing I did, because first time I got pulled over, I was like, please don't ask me to step out of the car. Please don't ask me to step out of the car.
Because my cousin, he used to be a policeman. So when I passed my test, I was like asking him all this stuff. Like, what do I do if in the event I get pulled over? Like, how, because I can only say what I can say, and how they react to me is not in my control.
At the end of the day, mate, all you got to do is say, look, I'm a wheelchair user. I've got limited mobility in my legs. At the end of the day, they can't, in an ideal world, they can't treat you any different. And I can't see a reason why they would. Both times.
During second lockdown, I was actually followed and kind of pulled over by the police, but I parked up, and then they just came up beside me and then asked me, and I've never been asked this before. I mean, I've never been really pulled over by the police before, but it just seemed like a random, weird question. He said that the only reason I'm stopping to have a word with you is that I've never seen a car be insured for 3 years, like consecutively. And I'm like, I just look at him.
What?
I don't really know, but it's done through mobility. So whatever that is.
3. Oh, I think what he means is, like, obviously with Motability, you're like in a 3-year contract, whereas most people with their insurance, they renew it like every year.
Yeah, but he'd never seen it, so he pulled me over just to ask me why I was insured for 3 years, and I was like, that's a bit of a random question.
Yeah, that is. I mean, to be fair, the guy that pulled us over in Birmingham, he went to me, I noticed the car's registered to Kent. You are just here on a trip on your. Yes, I didn't steal the adapted car. Perfectly adapted for me.
Yeah, because we can just find those on every street corner.
But it's like it's just, to be fair, like I say, both times, I mean, the first time I'll admit it was a mistake, and to be fair, I'd only been driving, I think, a year and a half.
Yeah, mistakes like that happen when you first start driving.
Yeah, so it is what it is. I obviously got a warning, but the second time was just more comedic. Even the police officer found it hilarious. After the fact I explained it, he was like, I completely see where you're coming from, but that's quite funny. Thanks for laughing.
It sounds like the right policeman to pull you over in that situation.
To be fair, Brummies are a lot nicer than Londoners. So
well, yeah. You can tell that as soon as you start driving, and then there's a red bus. As soon as you hit like Romford, it becomes London, and then it's everyone for themselves.
I'll tell you what, I've driven in Colchester a couple of times. What a fucking nightmare. No, Colchester and Chelmsford are a nightmare to drive.
Chelmsford is where I live.
But literally, particularly Colchester. Colchester's all the fucking like, you know, the painted on roundabouts.
Yeah.
So they're like one
I
after
don't like driving in Colchester very much.
And I'm like, do you not want to give me a chance to drive? Instead, it's like left off this roundabout, right? Roundabout left off. It's like blimmin' Milton Keynes.
They had new roads, so then the sat nav doesn't pick them up, and you're like, am I going the right way?
Yeah. Oh man. But no, well, that's a driving tangent, I guess. I mean, this is the fun that some people don't get out.
Disabled people drive.
Yeah, we do.
We didn't say we do it safely, but we do
Yeah.
say we drive.
Oh man, I'd love to like meet a disabled person that drives like a car that's ridiculous though. Like drives like a Corvette or like an adapted Lamborghini.
I think it was before I could drive, but I love Porsches, like 911 Porsche,
I'm
right?
not bad at Porsche.
Well, okay, but I'm gonna have this. And when I was a kid, I saw one and I was like, isn't it a disabled bay? And I just went and looked. It had a blue badge in it. Now I don't know if he was the driver, but I'm like, well, if he's got one, I can have one
Yeah.
later on in life.
I remember I got really excited because I saw a P1, McLaren P1 parked in the same
Yeah,
way.
they're nice.
Please tell me that this has a blue badge. It didn't. I was very disappointed that it didn't.
I don't know, because most of those supercars now are built automatic. Like
Yeah.
they don't build them manual.
No.
So if it's automatic, there is a way of fitting the adaptions in. I mean, I don't know how I'd get my chair in it, but I don't really care at this point.
I mean, to be fair, the only issue you'd have is obviously that you'd have to. Obviously, we're really lucky in the UK. We've got the Motability scheme, but then obviously certain cars aren't available on it, so you'd have to pay for literally everything, which would be a nightmare.
Yeah, yeah. And also, I don't know if you think this, but when it comes to the point where you need to like either, because you can keep your car, can't you?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can say I want to buy it and like I'll have to insure it myself. That to me makes no sense because you can just have a new car and then all of that hassle is gone.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's whenever you look, like there are companies that will always do a decent deal, but then there's cars that you think of, like your Mercedes, your BMWs, even your Range Rovers and stuff like that, and to some extent now Ford, and they used to be really good, but they seem to be overpricing their deposit thing for the car that you get. Because when you look at
I mean,
the equivalents,
I get what you mean. Like, I was really lucky with my Peugeot. I think the down payment on it was something like 400 quid. But I think you're right. Like certain cars, I think particularly with Brexit, I think that's going to go up a lot more.
It's going to make it a little bit more difficult. Yeah,
because I've got to change the beginning of next year, so I'm already.
Nice. It's nice.
It's always
kind
nice.
of awkward time.
Yeah, for me this time was a lot more stressful because my first car basically had a big sliding door, so I used to be able to sit on my passenger side and slide everything onto the back seats.
I think I saw a video of you like throwing your frame in as quick as possible or something.
Yeah, but I wanted a car that was a bit more like normal, and not so much of a people carrier. So that's why I went with the car
because they're massive as well, aren't they, to drive?
So now I've changed the way I get my stuff in and out, and I obviously did a video on it. But with the way I get stuff in and out now, it makes life a lot easier. Whereas when I first started looking for the car I've got now, I had a load of problems with obviously most of the cars that were big enough for me were the over 25 ones, and I was only 20, I think at 21, 20 at the time. So
then they just basically tell you no straight away, don't they?
And I had to go through the whole appeals process because the car I've got is under 120 brake horsepower, but it's an insurance group. So I wanted the top spec car purely because it had the automatic wipers, the automatic lights, the folding wing mirrors.
Yeah,
everything I needed.
It's stuff that makes it easier for us to do driving.
Yeah, and basically the highest spec one was in a higher insurance group, but the lower spec one wasn't. So I had to go to the appeal process to be like, look, like the car's within power restriction and it's only just into the other insurance group. Luckily, I won it. I mean, I had to keep my excess the same. But now where I've changed, so that was originally the way I was going to do things. I was going to do like you do and pull my wheelchair across me. But the way I've changed it now, I can pretty much look at most cars. So I'm looking forward to this way a lot more than I was the last time. The last time I was screaming, swearing, I was doing all sorts. It was just getting to the point now. It was getting to the point where I was like, is it even worth changing cars? But
well, they will let you extend it for a certain amount of time, won't they? They just do it automatically for like 6 months or something.
I think the maximum you can extend it for is 2 years.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because I originally did do that when I was struggling to find a car, and then
Yeah,
the one I got now.
there's only one time that I've asked Motability to change my car quicker, and I never realized you could do it. And I was like, wait, so I've been struggling with this car for 2 years, and I could have just asked you and said, look, this car is better suited, can I change it?
I didn't even know you could do that. I thought once you're in a 3-year lease, that's your lot.
You have to like call them, you have to give them like a genuine like reason that they can see. So I had an Alfa Romeo Mito. I don't know why.
Like.
It was a blood rush to the head, and like I'd watched Top Gear the week before, and he was like, everyone who's a driver has to have an Alfa Romeo.
What
And
do
then
they
I saw
look
an
like?
Alfa
Wait, what do
Romeo
they look like?
dealership.
I'm gonna Google this. What the Alfa Romeo? What did
Alfa Romeo Mito.
Alfa
It's the worst car I've had. So
Mito.
And it was the worst. It was the worst dealer actually that I've had.
I can't find it.
Is looking at pictures of my girl's car.
Alfa
Romeo.
Rita, did you say?
Mito. Mito. Has he found it?
I like them. Yeah, okay. They're a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the worst car I had, mate. It didn't drive well at the dealership. My God, the customer service was awful. Do you realise? Right, I'm going to tell. I can say it safely now because it's years old. I was driving that car. I had it for 2 months. They hadn't insured me on it.
Fuck. Shit.
Exactly. And the thing is, I'd like for everyone who's watching who isn't disabled, like me and Charlie, because we're special. You're not allowed to leave the dealership without you being insured on the car. So I'm driving around the world for 2 months uninsured. And the only reason I rung up was to make sure that my dad was on it. And then I rung up and the woman goes, well, he's already on it, but the problem is you're not. And I was like, what do you mean?
Oh dear.
What do you mean?
Also, I've realised you're over 25, but you still bought a car. You've got a Seat Leon, haven't you?
Now, yeah, I have. It's my second one. They are the best cars I've ever had on Motability.
Because they're still under the 120 brake. I must admit, I'm one of them people that as soon as I can get above that bracket, I'm going.
No, it's not.
Is it not?
I went for the top spec one. The first one I had that they don't make anymore was a 1.8 1.8, and it was the white one. I don't know if you've seen a picture of it. I might send you a picture later. It was 180 horsepower. Yeah, I love that car, and I didn't want to get rid of it.
To be fair,
and this one, because now they only do petrol engines. If you buy a petrol engine on Motability, it won't be any higher than a 1.5 because economically or whatever no company is making anything higher than that. So this one is 150 brake, but it doesn't really feel any different.
Yeah, I mean, I think once you get past sort of 120, that you have to go a fair bit over to see the difference. I mean, and like I said, I had the Golf, and the biggest benefit to having the Golf was particularly country lanes where you're constantly having to like tuck in and get out the way. Yeah. It was so much easier.
And like, I'm not being funny. We have to drive automatic. That's the only option we have. I mean, I think there is a way of being able to do it manually, but I'm not, that's too much of a ball ache for me to worry about that.
It's too stressful.
Yeah. And anyway, so when I got my Seat, they have like a DSG gearbox. So with all the other cars that I'd had before, yeah, they were lower power, but because they were automatic, they bloody struggle to jump into gear, and I'd be like, you could hear it just like struggling. Whereas this one, it's already like bang, 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 and it just
Yeah.
goes. There's no like,
Yeah.
it's so much better,
I'm
and I didn't have to pay for it.
yeah, didn't pay anything for it.
No,
Nice.
twice.
Nice. I
No,
had
hang on. I think I might have paid £99 for one of them, but
that's nothing for a car, is it? I
no.
think as well, like because I have to have electric seats. And the thing that's
Oh
really
yeah.
annoying with that is you'd think most modern brands would have electric seats. No.
Or at least a car with like that option in one of them.
Yeah.
My dog's come to say hello.
Great. What dog you got?
I've got 4
You got 4.
in
Jeez.
the house. There's 2 staffs and 2 Frenchies.
Standard. I've
And
got
he's the eldest one, and he doesn't like it when he can hear people talking, but he's not involved. So now he's just come and opened my door and said hello. He's not going to do anything. He's just standing there now.
fair enough. No, I can't remember what I was gonna say now. Like
Sorry.
no, it's all right. No, so yeah, I needed electric seats, but I thought, oh, most car companies have that now. They didn't. But then I found out, I think 6 months into my annoying car search, that there is an adaptation that just exists. And I'm like,
Is there?
why did no one just tell me? Like,
Surely they must know, if they're mobility dealers as well,
I
that these things are about.
no. So I asked our dealer. I said, like, is it like last resort? Is there not something that they can do? And they said, yeah, there was one, but it could go up, down, sideways, left, right, all sorts. And I was like, I literally need it to go backwards, forwards. That's it. Nothing else.
Yeah, I don't need it to do like the Congo or anything.
Yeah. And then no, oh yeah, it does exist. Because the interesting thing as well is like most companies I was going to for the electric seats alone would cost me £1,000.
Wow.
And
So it's like an adaptation, like the hand controls and everything that we get.
yeah,
It was
But-
classed as an adaptation like that.
yeah. So to be fair, I did have to pay extra for it. But what was the big selling point was, one, it was only £750, and they basically said to me, this can be fitted to any car you
So
want.
you can take that out of it and
No,
put
I
it
don't
in
know.
the next
I don't
car.
know about taking it out of it, but it meant that obviously all the cars I was looking at, the electric seats became not an issue, because it was just okay.
Yeah.
I'll order it with this. So I'm going to ask the question when I next order and say, look, can we just take the mechanism out and put it in this car? But we'll see what they say.
Yeah.
But
Because
yeah,
that's sometimes what they ask, when you upgrade anyway and you've got all the hand controls and stuff, if they still work fine
yeah,
and buying new is going to cost you, they say, do you want us to take your stuff out and put it in your new
that one,
car?
yeah.
I've never done that because I don't know. There's a weird sort of thing in my head, is that I won't trust it because it's been working for 3 years. You've taken it out of one car and you're putting it in a different
I think
one.
the difficult thing is as well with Motability, like hand controls come not free, but they're not. You don't have to pay anything for them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, you might as well.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously with the electricity, where I'd have to pay out again, it's a bit more annoying. But obviously, like the thing I always try and remember is, like, if you say to a normal person you're going to pay 1,500 for a brand new car, they snap your hand off.
Yeah.
I always go, like, it sucks.
But you have to think about it. The way I started thinking about it was that we're basically doing what most able-bodied people do anyway, and we're financing a car.
Yeah.
Because that's what a lot of people do now. If you see people with a newer car, they're paying a finance company each month until they pay that off.
Yeah.
So that's basically what we're doing.
Yeah.
Motability is the biggest finance company.
So
yeah.
But no.
And also, I've been seeing recently on Instagram, I don't know if you've seen them either, and I don't know if I would do it, but it would make my life a lot easier. There's like these mechanical claws that come out of the back of a car and clip your wheelchair in.
Yeah. The other one,
and then take it away.
The other one I saw, I was down in Ramsgate a few years ago, and this little tiny Vauxhall Corsa was pulled up, and I'm like, it's got a roof box. Why's it got a roof box? Next thing you know, this claw comes out, grabs the chair from the roof box, pulls the chair down, passion
That's
driving.
one thing I don't. Those roof boxes are massive, though.
It was more mind-boggling. I'm like, the car is this big. Why?
Yeah,
Why have you got a
just get something a little bit bigger.
Why have you got a ginormous roof box? But yeah, I mean, we've been on cars for like ages. I'm trying to think. Was there any other questions?
We're petrol heads, aren't we? Really?
Yeah. Fuck motorbikes. I really hate motorbikes.
Why? I want to have a go on a quad.
What? That's different. That's not a motorbike. That's a
No,
quad.
you can get them on mobility. I was at the bike show in Birmingham one year, and he said to me, "If you
What?
want this, you can get it on mobility because all you have to do for a quad is have a driving license. So we can literally go and ride quads."
Fair enough. I know
Yeah.
what I'm doing next time. Actually, that was what I was going to ask you because I know you're thinking of helping me out with a blog post about it. You said that you started school in a special school, and then when you went to college, you went over to mainstream college. What was that transition like?
For me, that transition was overdue. Like, I, when I was born, like I don't want to generalize, but I'm pretty sure that everyone, no matter what their level of disability, is always told the worst case scenario. So when I was born, my mum and my dad were told that I wouldn't be able to walk, I wouldn't be able to talk, I would probably never be able to feed myself or go to the loo or anything like that. So I was their firstborn kid, and they had all this going through their head, and they had people helping them. And they said the best place for me to be when I got to the age is this special needs school. So from the age of 4, I went to this place in Southend, which is like 30 minutes away from me. And I'd go by taxi. They'd pick me up at, can't remember what the time was, like 7 or 7:30, and I'd go there from the age of 4 till 17. So they did like preschool, infant school, and senior school all in the same place.
Yeah.
And in the whole school, there was under 100 pupils.
Whoa. Shit.
Yeah, exactly. When I got into like senior school, there were 6 people in my class.
That's ridiculous. There was 60 kids in my class.
Exactly. So in a way, that kind of helped because it was kind of like getting one-to-one teaching in, I guess, kind of like a private school, but it definitely wasn't. And so, yeah, but because obviously I don't consider myself to be disabled in that way, like there were things that helped me along the way, but I kind of outgrew it because it became more of a school where, well, there were a load of different people with different abilities. So you'd have people that were severely disabled, and then you'd have people that were like me, and then you'd have people that were more able.
Yeah.
But also that also comes with sort of learning difficulties as well. So there were some people that were able to do GCSEs and all of the exams that you would normally do in a school. And then there are other people that weren't able to do it to that standard. So they would have different kinds of exams when you get to that level that they could do so that they had something to then go on to college with. But
Yeah.
we would also do that. And I was kind of jammy because somebody told me that if I took 2 of these exams that were like lesser, that weren't GCSE, but if you put them together and you get like a high mark, that equivalent is a C or a D GCSE. So when I went for my college interview and audition, and they asked me if I had the right qualifications, I said I got a B in drama, which is what I needed. And I said, well, in my school, I'm doing GCSEs, but I've also already done these 4 exams. And if I put the 2 together, I can have the other grade to get me into this course. So before I'd even finished my GCSEs, I had an unconditional offer to go to a mainstream college and do performing arts. So I was like, up until that point, I was stressing, like, how am I going to do it? Like, I really want to do this, but I'm stressing. And then as soon as I was like, I'm done, like, I don't have to panic about anything. I've got to where I want to go to.
Yeah.
After the careers counselor told me that I probably wouldn't be able to do that. And if I wanted to go traveling and performing and doing stuff like that, why don't I work in a travel agent? Because then you'll go and see the world or whatever. But no, you
I think
completely
like
missed the point.
I think careers advisors always have an over ambitious expectation of what jobs are. Like, I've got a couple of friends that are travel agents. Fuck off, do they do that amount of traveling? Particularly,
Yeah,
I mean,
especially now.
they don't do anything. But yeah, I think. Well, I did mainstream all the way through. I think it's interesting as well to see like the difference in mentality, because from what you've just explained, it was sort of like a given that someone with a disability went to
In sort of like what? How old would that be? That would be kind of like late 80s, early 90s, all the way through to early 2000s. And by the time I'd got to there, well, even before then, it had got to a point where I was like, I'm okay being here, but I can go and be in an able-bodied environment, because like my family life had been the same. All of my cousins went to a school down the road. I knew all of the people there,
yeah,
and I did think about going. I asked, well, I didn't ask, but my parents asked if I could go to that school, and they said that I could, but that they didn't have an accessible like way for me to get around. So there would be some lessons where I would basically be on my own in a room that I could get to, where everybody else in my class, whatever class I'd be in, would
yeah.
be somewhere else. And I didn't want to do that.
No, I
I
get
didn't want to be
isolated.
thingy. But by the time I got to sort of 15, 16, there was a load of meetings and they wanted to change the school that I was in so that it was just for like severely disabled people, and then take the ones like me and integrate them into a mainstream school. And
Uh,
we said that that would have been fine if you'd have done that at the beginning, but this is our GCSE like years,
yeah,
and you want to take us out of here and throw us into a situation that we've never been in before and
yeah.
expect us to do all right.
It's a weird one. Like I say, it's interesting. I wouldn't have thought that there was that much difference. Obviously, I think there's about 10, 15 years between us, isn't there?
Wait, well, if we're going to be exact, I think it's probably about 13, 14. You're kind of like, you're a similar age to my little brother. So I don't really think about it. See, you're younger than me. I'm 36, right? We'll just put that out there. I'm 36, but I don't really, I know it's corny and everyone says it, but age is just a number. And
No,
because my little brother is around the same age, I don't really think about there being a situation where me and you can't get on because
yeah. I mean,
I'm older.
I think as well, like when you got a disability, like you have to be a lot more open, and that kind of opens you up to like you're a lot more just you get on with who you get on with. It's not, oh,
Yeah,
this person needs to be the same age as me. It's kind of just we
yeah,
get on.
yeah, yeah.
It's fine.
I think also just in any walk of life that when you get to a certain age, sort of generational age gap friendships or relationships or whatever become
Yeah,
less important.
I always found it funny. Like it's okay. Like once you get to like 19, 20 upwards, it's okay to like date someone that's like 4 years older than you. You do that shit like before then,
Yeah,
don't do it. Just
there's
don't do it.
something wrong.
Yeah. But it's such a weird transition. It's just like, and it's okay now, and it's like,
All of a sudden you're kind of like allowed on the grown up table.
yeah. But yeah, I think as you say, it's you get along with who you get along with, and I think as well, like I mean, I'm the youngest in my family, so I'm always around older people, so I can sort of adapt
Yeah,
to.
I think that's why. I think that's why. Also, I think that we get on because I'm the oldest in my family, but my brother is the same age as you, and he's the youngest, and he's had the same thing. So he's had to sort of grow up in a different way. So he
Yeah.
matured quicker. We didn't like stop him from being little, but he got used to being
Stop
around
it.
us. We he got used to being around us as we grew up. So
Yeah.
it kind of just made him mature faster.
Yeah, I mean it's weird as well. Like I'm 22 and I'm already like thinking about like houses and stuff. My mum always goes to me like, "You're 22, chill the fuck out, like calm
Yeah.
down." But it's just to say where like my sister's 27. That may be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. Um,
You don't know your sister's age?
well, it kind of she got to like 24 and it kind of just went. Yeah, it just went.
It's that bang on your head you had when you were walking
Yeah,
down your garden.
yeah. Yeah, that's what it was. So yeah, I think I say I grew up quickly, and it is what it is. Like I think that's why I'm quite open to talking to anyone. Like I've got friends that are like your age, and I've got my own lot that might more my age, and I've got even ones that are older. And it's like,
Yeah,
how do
yeah.
you? I just talk like it's not. You don't have to be
You
a
just
certain
get on
way.
with who you get on with. Like
Yeah,
if there's a, I can't think of the right word, but if there's a connection there,
yeah,
then it kind of just happens anyway.
yeah,
And I think we're quite similar in the sense that if we communicate and find a connection with somebody, then we're quite easy to get along with, and we will just
you open up a lot
bring,
quicker.
yeah, bring people in, kind of thing.
Yeah. Actually, I've never asked you about that. What about like the work scene for you? How have you tackled that yet? Or
Well, I will be honest. No, like, that sounds bad,
no, that's
but
fair.
it's
No,
not.
that's
It's not.
fair.
It's not as bad as it sounds. It's not like I don't want to,
Yeah,
but you hit so many hurdles that it kind of just
push it.
becomes like, I wouldn't say that I don't work, but like I've decided that whatever I'm going to do, I'm probably going to have to work for myself.
No, that's fair.
Does
And I
that
think
make
that's
sense?
part of like that's part of why I started YouTube. Well, I mean, both my parents are self-employed, so there's that background for me. But also, like I say, getting into work, although I've been quite lucky, although it hasn't been easy, I have managed to get into work, but the doors that open for you are more limited.
Yeah.
That isn't saying for anyone watching this, that isn't saying you can't do it. It's just
No, no, no.
it's a bit of a ball ache. Um,
Yeah.
and like
And I probably could have pushed myself more if I wanted to, but I always kind of think of, like, there's always been a plan in my head for the kind of thing that I wanted to do. And
mm,
I don't want to put myself in a situation that I see other people doing, which is fine if they want to do it, where they're kind of wrecking their body and their mind, and like it's making it harder for them to live just so that they can work. Do you see what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, no, I
Like they're
get what you
pushing
mean.
themselves too hard,
Yeah,
and
I
I
mean,
just want to find that balance.
to be fair, I'm as guilty of that as anyone because, like, obviously, I work 9 to 5, but then well, you'll know, editing videos, producing social media content.
Oh, that takes
It's,
long.
it's
Yeah.
not quick.
No.
So sometimes me and Gina will work easy work, 45 hours, even more sometimes. But it's just the thing is with the YouTube thing, it's work, but it's not. It's not work, if that makes sense. It's like it's not me sitting at my desk at work doing someone else's work. It's me doing my
Yeah,
own
it's
work.
it's for you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's yeah, I've kind of figured out in the last, say, well, I've always known it, but more so in the last 5 or 6 years, that I'm gonna work for myself. And I don't like saying it because I don't want to come across as like I want YouTube to be a thing and I want to blow up and be mad. Because I do it because I like to create stuff,
stop
but
fucking
I
lying. You'd
also
love to
would
go
like to
big.
see,
You'd love
huh?
to go big.
Well, yeah. Come on, anyone would.
Yeah.
But so, but I don't want to come across like,
No, I think both me and you, we come in with a really strong message, and at the end of the day, the message is the main goal.
yeah,
It turning into a job is just it's a lucky, if it happens, it's a lucky bonus.
it's a
Um,
happy bonus. Yeah,
yeah, and I think, yeah, I mean, for me, I think where obviously as you know, I've had the pain of like trying to find work and it being a bit of a nightmare. I kind of do want that whole work for yourself. If YouTube can be that great, obviously I've got a couple
Yeah.
other things I do, but the main reason for me doing that is one, because I'm jealous of my parents always fucking off to different countries for every now and again, and I'm like, guys, like literally, I think if it wasn't for lockdown, they might would have gone away like 7 times this year, something ridiculous. That, but it's like I say that, but it's not all massive big holidays, but it's just them
No,
being,
but it's just nice to be able to do that
yeah,
wherever it is. Just go, oh yeah, I've got a couple of days. Let's just go here.
yeah. I think
And
that's
the thing is with YouTube, like if we were able to do that, because obviously I'm going to say this now, like after this lockdown bollocks is done and
yeah,
everyone's safe, everyone stay safe, people, right? But we're going to do more work together,
yeah,
and it's not going to be in front of a screen. And I think
yeah,
that when that happens and we're sort of doing these things and maybe traveling and doing challenges or whatever, we're going to see that this thing can actually
be,
become something.
yeah,
And rather than anyone thinking that we're just playing a game at doing this thing, we're actually taking it serious. And it does take a lot of work,
yeah,
especially in lockdown. It
yeah.
takes a lot of work to find.
Content ideas, things like that. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm very lucky that obviously Gina, her day job's social media manager, and we both work in very similar spheres. Obviously, with me running YouTube and Gina obviously doing that as a day job and then helping me. So I'm very
yeah,
lucky that Gina's that way inclined in terms of ideas. If I'm having a bad day, Gina can come up with an idea. But like I say, it's not easy. Like for argument's sake, I've been fighting with trying to, the YouTube video I released. Well, it would have been a couple of weeks ago by the time this goes out. The makeup video. I was trying to do a
yeah,
paid promotion on that to see if I could get it go further. Instagram fucking rejected me 3 times for no reason. They haven't stated why, and I'm like, what? Like, what is the issue? I don't see like if it's that I haven't put ad in it, just tell me it's that I haven't put ad in. Like, just tell me. They don't
yeah,
put anything. But it's like things like that. Like people don't realize the little annoying things that you have to deal with. Obviously,
yeah.
at the end of the day, like we do it at the moment, we're doing it as a hobby. So I'm not saying like, oh, we should be getting paid for this because it's a job. It's more that like I don't think people realize some of the stuff that goes into it and some of the stuff you have to like think about.
Yeah, and the amount of, like, it's our choice to do it, but also the amount of money that you have to put in
Yeah.
to running a YouTube channel and promoting it in the right way. And
Yeah.
like
And
you
I think
might annoy some people, but you have to keep on it all the
yeah.
time. And
And that
over
makes
this lockdown, I've kind of realized that you have to just keep going.
yeah. I mean, I think as well, like obviously, as you say, we're not in this for the money, but then the money goes into it because obviously we believe the message is important. And
Yes.
that's the whole thing. It's at the end of the day, it's what opportunities come of creating this message. Like I had a dream the other day, like that so did you see the guy that did the pair of Nike trainers that were like
Yeah.
special? Basically, I had a dream that I ended up having an argument with TFL about basically I always think, like on trains, like some trains you can get on, some trains you can't as a wheelchair user.
Yeah.
I had a dream that
Annoying.
like I basically said to them like, why haven't we got the same as on a bus where you just press a button and the ramp comes out? Why isn't that a thing? So I had a dream that I had an argument with TFL. Then I had my dad design the ramp so that it perfectly fit. Then we signed an £8 million contract to
Oh, that's
fit,
about money.
fit all the trains with it. By the way, this is all in my head. This is hopefully it happens, but
He's copyrighted it now.
yeah. But I think that's the big thing is obviously you'd hope that opportunities, maybe not as extravagant as that. That's my imagination running away with it. But like opportunities like that come up and you're able to sort of put your 2 cents in. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think some people don't realize that like YouTube's a lot of it's a slog, particularly for newbies. Like
It is.
obviously
You really do have to love doing it
yeah,
to remain consistent.
it's a slog, like particularly when you start out. You've overtaken me when it comes to YouTube. which I am
No.
still slightly salty about.
No, you've been coming up.
Yeah, I'm creeping, I'm coming back. But like, it's
I've
also
only been doing it properly about 3 years. So
we're about even, and we're not far off. I think I'm on 297. Guys, hit that subscribe button.
keep me winning. We'll have like a PewDiePie and whatever the thing was. Whatever.
But I think when you start out, particularly like before you get to like 1,000 followers, it's hard to gain that traction of really getting going.
Yeah.
And I think as well, like, I feel like a lot of the points I've made make more so me sound quite like, oh, I'm putting in all this hard work. No, like, it's not me being like, oh, I hate doing it. I love doing it, and if I don't get paid for it, I'm happy with that.
We're still doing it. If we weren't happy with it, then our channels wouldn't exist at the moment.
Yeah, particularly at the moment, like coming up with ideas is difficult. I even put makeup on me. Like, guys,
I know.
Come on.
I've done that, but that video didn't make anyone's channel.
Did it not?
But
did it make up a late night show? Did it?
No, it wasn't for my channel, but yeah, it did happen.
I'm trying to figure out, we should get everyone to come up with a list of just challenges to get me and you to do.
Yeah, that would be good. Like a versus.
Yeah, because I've done boyfriend versus best friend. I mean, no, because that came out wrong. Yeah, no, girlfriend versus best friend. If you got boyfriend versus best friend, that's also cool. But so that was a bit of a series that we need to recreate. Although my best friend's got sickle cell anemia, so COVID fucked him in the ass.
Yeah, he's been shielding, I would imagine.
Yes, he's been vaccinated, which is good. So he's finally been done.
It's good to see those numbers coming up.
Those that have wondered, I'm not on the high risk list. Although cerebral palsy is, I'm not.
Yeah, same for me. Although I'm a little bit like, because on the list it just says cerebral palsy.
Yeah, I mean,
that's not helpful because there's so many different levels of.
Yeah, I think the difficulties with, like, my view is, look, I'm perfectly. I mean, I had it in December, and I was extremely lucky that the strain I had, the thing that I'd.
Well, you had COVID.
Yeah.
Ah.
I had COVID, and like the thing that I'd compare it to, for me, obviously, it's all individual. For me, it was like a really strong cold. And I was really lucky that that was all it was. I lost my taste, and I was a headachy and snotty and a sore throat for a couple of days. But that was the strength of it. If you've got to
go. I think food is on the table, but.
All right. Yeah, so COVID happened. Anyway, we'll do the outro, and I'll let you go grab some food. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to say this as well. If everybody likes this video, we can do more.
Yeah.
It's not like we can do anything else right now.
No, so we'll just sit and chat shit. And like I say, we've said that we want to start a podcast. So hopefully that's
we do have the ideas in mind.
It's coming. 2021, end of 2021, 22. Watch this space. We're gonna come.
Steady on.
Not what I meant. Okay. Yeah. Anyway.
And tune in for more of that.
Yeah. And on that note, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash a like, comment, and I'll link Lee's channel below and all of his socials.
See you later, people. Stay safe.
As always.